Hello, fellow scholars and purveyors of morbid curiosities alike. I'm Dr. Caleb, joined by the conductor of this crazy carousel himself, Dr. Zach. And this is SCPod. Zach, how are you today?
Not too bad. Feeling closer to the nature. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I feel a little woefully unprepared today, but
Yeah, I fucking do.
I'm. but yeah, we're just gonna roll with it, and who knows? Maybe this is some sort of cognito hazard in and of itself. Have you ever thought that maybe like we are a cognito hazard,
I've never
like
actually.
our podcast?
I've never bothered to check if this recording equipment is actually hooked up to anything.
You know, you know how like Chat GPT's been being fed SCP articles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What if it comes out that like this random podcast with 150 listeners, was being fed to Chat GPT?
I feel like that would contribute to the diminishing effectiveness of the, of the overglorified chatbot, and I think with listener support, we can make it even worse.
I think we have a noble goal now. We have to become large enough that they start using us to feed AI algorithms, and then we'll destroy them from the inside out.
Yeah, we will make them so thoroughly useless that it will just sink the entire thing. And I just really want to point out before we eventually get onto the actual topic of the episode that the exact same people who were shilling for cryptocurrency before they kind of crash and burn in spectacular fashion are now the people trying to sell us on AI. So maybe these people are just fucking idiots.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
But also, we're idiots too.
Yeah, but we're noble idiots.
We have the best intentions, at least.
I didn't say that.
Or at least we have intentions.
We have intentions that don't involve fucking over everybody else.
Exactly. Just our bosses.
We don't have bosses. We're freelance.
Who signs your checks?
Oh, I do.
Anyway, Zach, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about SCP-2571, Cragglewood Park.
Yes, this one's a fun one. I'm just gonna put it out there. Zach and I have had a long discussion on how we're going to tackle this one, yeah, you guys will understand when we get there. But
We'll get there.
Item number SCP-2571, Object Class Euclid. Special containment procedures are as follows. A Foundation-operated bot, I.O. Mandela, is to monitor online communities for discussions regarding SCP-2571. MTF-57, the Laughingstock, is to investigate these discussions and make a determination for appropriate action on a case-by-case basis. Description: SCP-2571 is a reoccurring childhood memory of a non-existent theme park, Cragglewood Park. It is estimated that 0.05% of the world's population is affected by SCP-2571. However, recent evidence suggests that this number may be growing. The primary vector for SCP-2571's spread is not yet known. Notably, it appears to be most common among adults raised as an only child. Afflicted subjects are initially responsive to amnestics, but memories regarding Cragglewood will typically resurface once treatment ceases. Although descriptions of these memories vary, several details remain consistent. Subjects were between the age of 4 and 12 when they visited. The park featured numerous characters, primarily centered around anthropomorphic variants of trees and plants. No adult supervision was present. Calliope music played throughout the park. Subjects attended the park with numerous other children, none of whom they knew. And the park featured only one ride, a carousel, or merry-go-round. Although children accompanying the subjects boarded this ride, the subjects themselves did not. Investigations regarding the precise nature of both SCP-2571 and Cragglewood Park are ongoing.
Moving.
And that's it. That's the article.
Sadly, no. There are 3 interview logs and a video log, which we will be paraphrasing because combined they dwarf the original article by a factor of 2. And
we also ran out of drugs.
You ran out of drugs. You did. I did not, and I'm not sharing. I will not reward your bad behavior. Moving on, I will be paraphrasing just because, again, these do run long. The first audio log was done in 2002, all of which were done by Dr. Rayner. The first subject was with a Rupert DiCasso, in which Dr. Rayner brought up the discussion of Cragglewood Park, and the subject recalled that it is a nightmare based off a childhood park he went to when he was younger, specifically mentioning the trees with faces, the carousel, and then mentioning that he was not alone and that there were other kids. And the audio log ends with the subject being afraid of the trees because because it has my face. The second interview log was done in 2003 between Dr. Rayner and the Janine Yearling, in which Dr. Rayner asked specifically if Janine had ridden the carousel. The subject denied having ridden the carousel, and that they had been hugged by one of the kids, which was an emotional situation for the subject. However, they denied knowing the other child. Lastly, in 2004, Dr. Rayner interviewed a Randolph Blair, who was found in possession of a video cassette, which we'll be covering next. In the course of the interview, Randolph denied or did not want to talk about the cassette at all, denied knowing where it came from. Beyond that, he found it in his attic. The interview logs end with Dr. Rayner asking Randolph Blair if he had always been an only child. And then the video log, which was recovered off of Randolph Blair, was a simple VHS or a simple mini video cassette found in possession with the word Cragglewood written upon it, wherein it shows shaky image of 2 young children going through the forested park. Heard within it can be heard the sound of distant calliope music, several instances of blurred images and static, distorted singing, and the aforementioned calliope music can be heard. The image progresses with the 2 children running down frantically before cutting to an image of a tree with a face on it. All in all, the video log itself is about 2 minutes and 42 seconds long. If you would like to know specifically what they say, you can go onto the wiki and read it yourself.
Yeah, it's I was just reading along while Zach was talking about it, and it definitely adds a good amount of the personality. But I mean, for the purpose of discussion and things like that, I think that's kind of the main points about it. Zach, what do you make about this? Do we need to talk about the elephant in the room first?
We can get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
I feel like there is a good enough amount of things here to discuss on its own before we talk about other things, which we'll get to. This kind of falls into an interesting trend of the scarification or horrifying, or the horrification process of children's media. Specifically, kind of called out to me, reminding me of the Candle Cove series of creepypastas that came out way back in the day, and some other like lost media children's horror, a la Squidward Suicide and stuff like that. Do you have much history with those?
I definitely stumbled across Squidward Suicide at one point, and read that. I definitely read Sonic.exe growing up, but not too. Candlewood Cove is one that I still don't know if I've actually read all the way through or anything like that. I know the basic gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I referenced this on another episode. There was this longer one, and it was a early on creepypasta called 1984. I want to say it's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very similar. The whole premise was like a local broadcast network that like put out this random show, and it was like, I think it was something called like Mr. Bear or something like that, and it was a child abuse ring. When you boil it down to its bare necessities, there, haha.
Yeah.
But that's what it kind of, that's the pinnacle, I think, of what I think of when I think of these like kind of kid pieces of media that is kind of warped.
Yeah, my like most direct comparison for me is probably Ben Drowned.
Oh, how could I forget about Ben Drowned?
It was an early one for me. It was kind of formative in a lot of ways. I don't necessarily think it holds up super well, but it's still one of like something I feel is like at least a little interesting even now.
Yeah.
But
I'm thinking about Ben Drowned. Not to go off on a huge tangent here, but I remember reading that growing up too, and even watching people like discuss it on YouTube and stuff like that. And then I went, maybe I was watching an episode of Creepcast, Wendigoon's creepypasta podcast, and they did an episode on Ben Drowned, and there's a whole back half of that story, and it is I don't mean to like shun the author or anything like that, but it is it completely destroyed the story for me.
yeah, I think I know most of it through, aside from just reading it, it was the breakdown done by Nightmind and Nexpo, I think. Did a really good job covering that. But I bring those up just to kind of give you an idea of what 2571 is sort of dealing with in the idea space. Talking a little bit about what's literally going on is that we have a number of quote-unquote former quote-unquote only children who have memories or reoccurring memories or nightmares of visiting this theme park. If you grew up in the Pacific Northwest, think like Enchanted Forest. That might be a reference only 3 of you get, but if you get it, boy, do you get it. And the only ride in the theme park is this carousel, which seems to be making some of the children putting these children in distress, and or disappearing them. Does that kind of hold to your reading, Dr. Caleb?
Yeah. Especially if we're going with the thing about the last viewee. What was his name? Rudolph.
Yeah.
Randolph Blair, and how he wasn't always an only child. Maybe the kids that are being put on the carousel, because it specifically notes that none of the people that they have learned anything about Cragglewood Park. Let's see here. Subjects attended the park with numerous other children, none of them who they knew, and the park featured only one ride, but only children accompanying the subjects boarded this ride. So notably, anybody that like was interviewed by the SCP Foundation ever got on the carousel. So
right.
I think it's kind of safe to assume that most of the kids, if not all of them, that got on this carousel, they're gone.
Right, and circling back to, I feel like we both have picked up on, is that I don't think any or most or if any of these children were ever only children all the time.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that. Maybe there is some sort of cognito thing going on where, like, the anomaly is erasing the memory of them growing up with a sibling.
I think that's exactly what's happening.
Okay.
Because I want to point to the second interview log with Janine Yearworth. The third interview log with Randolph Blair, where he says, "Mr. Blair, have you always been an only child?" And then circling back to the second interview is poignantly when Janine says, "Why did they hug me? I didn't know who he was."
I see.
Why is it making her emotional? And I feel that's kind of the drip feed into the question with Mr. Blair. Even then, you kind of see it in the video log transcription where you have the relationship between the voice 1 and voice 2, presumably Randolph Blair and the other unnamed child, who I suspect is a sibling of Mr. Blair.
Yeah.
Why they would take kids with siblings and then cognito hazard them into making them believe that they were never anything but an only child is interesting to me.
Yeah, it's I don't understand why. I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit later when we bring up the other thing. But it is like, why is this happening? Like, there's a lot of, I have a ton of questions in regards to this, because it's like, okay, if this is like some sort of like dream sequence, collective memory thing, or something like that, there's actual repercussions happening here if like kids are being taken. But then also like, if there's this cognito thing going on where it's deleting the memory from the child, like, are the parents just not reporting that their kid was taken? Like,
yeah, that's
what's going on there.
That is a question I had as well, because it mentions that no adult supervision was present. So does that mean that in the memory or in the dream there's no adults, or if there was ever an inciting incident, there was no adults present at that time? Because you would think you would remember losing a kid, but if adults were present at the inciting incident, then maybe they were affected in some way as well. But it's not mentioned.
Okay, let me ask you this, Zach. Let me ask you this. Do you think Cragglewood Park is a real place?
I think something like it is a real place. And that place, just to kind of give the ghost, is a SCP-437, which is what we're going to be covering next episode.
Okay. The reason I ask if you think it's a real place is because I'm almost interpreting this, or maybe reading into this, maybe in a little bit of a weird way, but what if this is post or pre-birth? Like a subconscious thing that the kid is going through. So the kid physically has always been an only child, but like the kid was going to be a set of twins. And then whatever this anomaly is got rid of the twin.
I think that there's a bit of reach going on there. I'm not sure.
100%.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not sure I see it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying I just don't necessarily see it. And there are enough instances of child eating SCPs to where I think that might be the more likely case.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to explain away this whole, like, why don't we have a bunch of reports from parents being like, hey, where the fuck is my kid?
Right, and that's kind of why I'm leaning more on the parents themselves are also being affected by some sort of cognito hazard or a mimetic effect.
Yeah.
Because that would kind of neatly answer why they didn't remember it. You can't report a child missing if you never remembered that you had a second child to be reporting missing. And then you just kind of go home like, why is there just a second room full of kid shit?
Interesting.
You'd have a bunch of really confused parents, but I mean, I don't know. Especially if you already had more than one kid beforehand. So like, imagine if you had two kids, or if you had 3 kids, you lose one, give them a mimetic effect, and then like, no, I have 2 kids.
Well, and actually, you know, I was just reading over the 3rd interview log, and Randolph Blair, he mentions that he has a locked door in his house. And it's like he's never gone in there.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the tea room in Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah.
Where there's just like that locked room where the thing happened. Spoilers for Haunting of Hill House, I guess. But you know, it's the room where the wife prepares the poison tea for the kids.
Right.
But like, it's been like so memory hold by the entire family that it takes like the whole ghost sequence to remember that it even fucking happened.
Yeah.
And so like I can see something similar happening like that if you lost your kids due to like mimetic tree men.
Yeah. Well, and I think that this parallels non-SCP stuff too. Like I remember what was it? Was it Ed Gein? The guy who like killed people and made furniture out of their skin. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he his mother died, and he had such a thing for his mother that like he closed her room where she died in and like never ever went in there.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, but like instead of having such strong memories of something, it's like having the feeling of a memory, but can't quite remembering why you feel that way.
Right. You're like, okay, I know that this room is important, but I don't know why, and I don't want to breach the sanctity of that.
Right, or like confronting it is so deeply like traumatizing for you, but you also don't know why. So it's not out of reverence, but like out of a sort of fear. Because
Zach, do you like carousels?
They actually made me. I was a little scared of them as a kid, just because I didn't like the up and down thing, and I didn't trust my parents enough to have them pick me up and put me on one.
Oh, fair enough.
Because they would have 100% dropped me.
What
about you?
It's been a while since I've been on one, but both of us being from the PNW, Seaside, Oregon has a really fun one. It's kind of renowned. And I think that was the last time I ever went on one, and that would have been like sophomore year of high school. But I don't know. I just love being like on any kind of ride. Like it does, even if it's a merry-go-round or a roller coaster. It's kind of fun. I don't know.
I was never big on roller coasters. Yeah, I went on one once, and I don't know. It didn't do a whole lot for me. It was mostly just vaguely uncomfortable the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm not a really big thrill ride dude.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was mostly like whenever I went to like a festival, like an arcade, an amusement park or theme park. I do like the Tilt-A-Whirl.
Oh, okay.
But I also I went straight for like bumper cars and stuff like that.
Right. I could totally imagine Kid Zach just like being a fucking menace in the bumper cars.
Yeah, it was a good time, but I also enjoyed the arcade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like also skee ball. Like this might be the most boring thing about me, but I'm also like a huge fan of skee ball.
Oh, I love skee ball too. I knew we were meant to be podcast partners.
It's funny because like I got so good at it. Like I could practice after like a 2 or 3 throws. I could like mechanically just move in such a way to where the ball would always end in the dead center.
Oh wow! Okay.
And so it's just like I got so good at it. And so like the skee ball became like just like a ticket printing press for me. And so like I would just walk up to the counter with like a wad of tickets.
That's awesome. I had a friend in high school who we were able to figure out a way like just using like the beat of something to like always get the jackpot on a like slot machine at our local like nickel arcade. And it was a ticket printing machine there too. We were just like, he sat there for like 45 minutes and came out with like 10,000 tickets.
I did something similar with one of my older brothers. It was for one of our nibblings' birthday party. We went to Chuck E. Cheese, and you know that little like roll a quarter and like the ski jump.
Are you talking about coin dozers?
No, it's the ski jump one, but kind of like that.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like that. And so we've worked out a system to where like one of us would we would figure out the exact angle we would need to roll the token at, and then one of us would hold the arm exactly in place, and the other one would just like machine gun feed tokens into it. And what we did is that like because it was my nibbling's birthday, is that we just gave them all the tickets, and so there's this picture of me and my brother just like holding like this like just like rat's nest of tickets, and my nibbling just like all like there were 7 or 8 at the time, just like beaming like feral grin at all the fucking tickets we're about to give them. It was a good day.
Oh man, yeah, no, that's great.
That was it.
I love that you brought up Enchanted Forest, because that's exactly what I think of when I'm reading this SCP. Is like that kind of mountainy, kind of kind of got a little bit of a mist going on, or like a fog. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, yeah, if you grew up anywhere, like especially in Oregon, this face that's on the article will just elicit like, oh yeah, I-5 South, Salem.
Exactly.
And that was a good time. Everyone around here has like fond memories of it. And it's true, like I feel like most regions have like their own like niche theme park that we all have super fond memories of.
Yeah.
But were you ever scared of theme parks when you were younger?
Was I ever scared? I've always been an adrenaline junkie. And like as long as I can remember, anytime I could go to any, I guess like I did go into like a haunted house when I was like really little, or maybe it was like a mirror maze or something like that. I don't know. I haven't really thought about this in a really long time. It was like a county fair out in Kansas, and I remember I like resisted going into this house, and it was either like a mirror maze or a haunted house of some sort, and then like we got like 5 feet in, I got scared and I just walked out. I think that's probably about it.
Yeah, I was a really anxious and terrified young child, and so like going anywhere with high amounts of people would always just kind of like freak me out a little bit. Especially like I had such a low faith in anyone else for like regarding my own personal safety, and so like even going with like my parents and stuff was always a case of like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Hell no.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate. I watched. Was it Final Destination 2? Is that the one with the roller coaster?
I think so.
I watched that after I graduated high school, and so like the rational part of my brain was like, okay, the chances of that actually happening are so infinitesimally small that it can't affect me. But if I would have watched that any time earlier, I would have been fucked up.
Yeah, it'd be like that. So, here's a question that we might have to wait till the next episode to answer. Is SCP-2571 an actual bespoke phenomena or instance of an effect, or is it simply the aftershocks of something else? Of an actual, like, the event that caused the memories or the nightmares?
That's interesting. I think, we kind of blank out the Sarkic season. But I think I might liken this a little bit to an unfinished ritual.
Okay.
Where there's definitely something more at play. Calling what the unfinished ritual was of just like a fucking Massachusetts town that's experiencing some crazy shit. When in reality there was just a bunch of like just Sarkic shit that was happening, and then we found out that stuff like that has been happening all over the world. So I have no idea what SCP-437 is. I am really looking forward to that debriefing. But that is my gut reaction just based off of just this article.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel like we've talked a little bit about 2571, and I feel like if we need to go any deeper about this, we're going to have to talk about SCP-437.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that there's a lot of questions I specifically have. I think just based just off the dome, like, why the fuck are they trees?
Yeah.
I know that's going to be answered within like 2 sentences of the next episode, but why are they trees? Why do they need the kids? Like, why is there a carousel? Like, there's a lot of random things. There's a lot of questions, and what I like about this SCP specifically is, like, even without reading 437, like, there's a lot of questions that you just know aren't really going to be answered.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because it's spooky.
Yeah, and, Euclid is Euclid for a reason.
Exactly.
Euclid is a fancy way of saying we have zero idea. We ain't find shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is kind of where I would want to leave it for 2571, because casting forward for a second to the audience, I think this is a real place, or something like it is a real place. And that's what we're going to talk about next episode. So, in about 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about SCP-437.
Yeah. So, like Zach said, we're going to be covering the sister-ish SCP to this one. We learned from Tyler. We're not going to do both in the same episode. So look forward to that episode, and we'll kind of debrief a little bit on 2571, explore 437, and kind of get the whole picture. And I'm looking forward to it because this has really piqued my interest. I think this is a really cool SCP. It's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly.
So, I guess, in the meantime, Zach, where can people find you?
They can find me over on my personal blog of Roll for Writing, which can be found at www.makeawritingcheck.blogspot.com. They can also find my YouTube channel, which is Roll for Writing Presents. I haven't uploaded there in a little while. Spooky season will be coming up around shortly, so I imagine I will be doing something for that. You can also buy my collection of short stories wherever you buy ebooks. It is Tales from Port Astor.
Cool. Yeah, definitely go check that stuff out. Read Zach's book. It's phenomenal. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Calica1738, or on YouTube at Calica, or Twitch at Calica Plays. It's a ghost town on all those places. Don't expect anything on there. You can also find me on my what should I call it? Like my other group or whatever. Anyway, I run another podcast. It's called Anything in Standby, where me and a bunch of my dumb friends, we all talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, and talk about it from a competitive level. I host that one, so the goofy antics I get up to here with Zach, kind of follow me over there. And my co-hosts over there absolutely hate me. It's not, at least Zach hides it pretty well. They don't. So, anyway, that is on Resurgence YGO on YouTube if you have any interest in there. I don't think there's much of a crossover audience, but there it is. You can also follow the podcast at SCPod_cast on Twitter, on Instagram at SCPod.cast. You can find us on Spotify and YouTube. I say us at the end of every episode, and it's not pre-recorded or anything like that. Please remember to like, rate, subscribe, follow the podcast, watch till the end, leave a mean comment, leave a nice comment, leave a suggestion. We just covered an SCP that somebody suggested, and we had a blast doing it. All those things really push us into the algorithm, really help us grow. Zach and I were just talking about before this how we are absolutely flabbergasted at the numbers that we get, as two dumb dudes that just want to talk about some spooky shit. It's absolutely fantastic, and we're super grateful for the entire audience. I think that's all my shilling. Zach, what are we covering next week? Oh, we're covering 437, right?
Yes.
All right, so look forward to SCP-437. And Zach, we don't need to play your audio backwards to get a creepy message, so just go ahead and hit us with it.
Who needs wake-up calls when you got ARM?
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.